Just gonna get started here in a couple seconds. Hello, and thanks for taking the time to join this free webinar today. My name is Dale Bateman. I'm a part-time internet marketer living near Toronto, Canada. My background is in graphic design, marketing, and personal training. Plus, I've been building my online business as a part-time internet marketer for almost 4 years. Now, before I get started with today's free webinar, let me share with you what I believe is the number one mistake that most internet marketers make. And yes, this includes me, especially when they are just getting started. Because I am truly passionate about wanting to help people achieve more success in their lives, and hopefully you will learn from my mistakes. As you know, many people have had great success online. However, without even realizing it, they were creating only a short-term business model. Why? They didn't build a list. They create a multitude of products to sell online. Some are good, most are not so good. They sell them through forums, affiliates, and advertising. Maybe they make a lot of money. Most of the time they don't. Why? They didn't build a list. Some of the greatest online marketers have had pockets of success by leveraging things like Google AdSense. By implementing simple keyword strategies early on, some brought in a whopping 6-figure income. But then, Google changed the rules, and these once successful online marketers were left with almost nothing. Can you guess why? That's right, they didn't build a list. So why is a good list so important? Quite simply, a quality list will continue to pay you for your quality online content over and over and over again. It all comes down to the trust that you earn from your email list. They learn to trust you because you've taken the time to build a strong relationship with them. So, what's the best way to build a strong, loyal list? That's what we're going to cover in this free webinar series. Now, I want to officially welcome you to this free internet marketing webinar. Let's get started. Grab a pen and some paper to make notes. Once the webinar is over, I'll open the floor for some Q&A. Right now, I'm doing high-level internet marketing and creating automated and passive sources of income online. Plus, I'm enjoying teaching people, just like you, how to do the same thing and make money online. But this time around, I'm making sure that everyone on my team is focused on building a list. Don't make the same mistakes I made. Make sure that you take the strategies you will learn here and use them to build a strong, loyal email list. But remember, when you are successful, make certain that you take time for what's really important in your life, like spending more time with your family, or maybe doing some traveling you've always wanted to do, or being able to buy that new car you've always wanted. I mean, that's what's so great about working from home. You have the freedom to do what you want, when you want, and as much as you want. Now, let's get to building you a good list. Here's what we'll be covering tonight. This week, which is week number 8 in this webinar series of 10, we're going to be talking about how to grow your customer base with social media marketing. I've got some simple strategies that you can use on a daily basis almost in order to help build your customer base and your following using social media. So let's get started. So essentially, you'll be learning how to promote your products or services to the members of one or more social networks. And we're talking about things like Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, and all of these other things that people spend a lot of time on every day. That's one of the big benefits of using social media as part of your marketing strategy. It's because the audience is so enormous. I mean, I can't remember the exact count of how many billions of people are on Facebook now, but it's just outrageous, the number of people that you can actually have contact with if you do it smartly, and if you do it regularly and people start to engage with you. So let's get into some more of this. So this is also a great way to build and manage your customer base, because you can think about, eventually what you want is your followers and your friends, quote unquote, on your social networks. You want them to turn into your customers in some cases. So by posting relevant information and letting your social followers know about any upcoming special products, incentives, and other new things you have to offer. If you have a brand new product, for instance, that you're about to launch, you can blast the information out to your customers through a social media advertising campaign. Now, there's a difference here. There is obviously paid advertising that you can do on just about every social network now. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that tonight. But there's also the free advertising. And that's what I really want to hit home with you tonight, is how to effectively use free advertising through your social networks to get yourself more noticed and eventually more customers visiting your site. So first off, with the paid advertising, if you use it, you can then gauge some of the effectiveness of your product by the number of positive or negative reactions coming back from them. Okay? So you know yourself, if you're involved in any of the social networks, if you see a post, you see an image or a video, whatever it might be, or even just a text post, it tends to provoke some sort of a response, or at least it should. If the person doing the posting is doing it well, then that post should provoke some sort of a reaction from you. And it could be a positive reaction, or it could be a negative reaction. It depends on how you're feeling that day. It depends on the type of post it is. It depends how relevant it is to you. Okay? So keep that in mind, that when you're posting to social networks, the relevance of what you're doing as compared to the particular audience, and this is easier to do in some social networks than it is in others. For instance, Facebook, it's a bit easier to segregate your following in terms of who's seeing your posts, more so than it is in Twitter, let's say. Okay? Because you have more control over your Facebook crowd, meaning the type of crowd they are, what their interests are, and this sort of thing, more so than you have on Twitter. You can tend to follow and have followers on Twitter that are all kind of dealing in the same sort of niche, but it's more difficult to do that. You have to kind of watch who you follow and watch who's following you as well, pretty carefully. So you want to, what I'm getting to here is when people write comments or posts about your product, and people will, if you're doing your posts properly, people will start commenting on them. They'll give you some likes, or they'll retweet it, or make a comment. Maybe they'll share it with their network of followers, which is great because that's when things start to go viral. So when people write comments or posts about your product, this is very important. Make certain that you are reading them to get a feel for how your product is being received. And I call this, here's my acronym of the day for you, A.S.I. Always stay involved with any sort of social networking that you're doing. Because if you're not involved, what can happen very easily is, and all it takes is one person to give you a bad review and share your post with their perhaps thousands of followers, and they give you a bad review or say this is a scam or this is no good. And if you didn't happen to notice that, it can go, that bad vibe, bad publicity can go viral if you're not careful and really hurt your business. So that's why I always say A.S.I. Always stay involved. Read the posts that people are making about your post. Read the comments. Take a look at where people are sharing it to. Take a look at how many likes you're getting. You know, the other thing, if you're talking about maybe a YouTube video that you've done, take a look and see, and make sure, I should say, that you're not getting any dislikes, no thumbs down, okay, on your videos. They should all be thumbs up, or if they don't do either, that's fine too. But try to watch for those thumbs down, because those are bad news, and you don't want to start getting a bad reputation. So, what about paid social advertising? I mentioned this quickly before. Basically, for someone who's just starting out, it can be quite expensive. I know right now, at the time I'm taping this webinar, you can promote a particular post or page or like a fan page and so on Facebook, and they basically have it priced from $5 a day up to basically as much as you want to pay. And what that does is it guarantees you a certain number of likes or shares for your fan page or your post. So if you got a really awesome post that you've written, and maybe you got a really cool image that goes with it, we'll talk a bit about that in a little bit, then you want to get it going and try to get it to go viral. You can pay to have that post promoted, as they say. It'll have a little ticket there that says promote this post, and you choose how much you want to spend per day. You can turn it off obviously whenever you want, but you can choose how much you want to spend per day to get that post promoted, and it will go out to specific targeted traffic within Facebook, that people that can potentially be interested in what your post has to offer. So it can be expensive, quite expensive. And not to mention how time consuming it is also. This gets back to my acronym, always stay involved. You'll need to attend to your social ads perhaps many times per day, because like I said, you want to see what the reactions are, especially if you're paying for this, right? You know, it's one thing to see how your posts are doing if you're not doing any paid advertising on the social networks, but if you're actually forking out money for it, you're going to want to be on top of it as much as you can through the day, each day, to make sure that things are going well and they're not going south on you. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting into social network advertising. So if that's the case, you can try doing some free social advertising. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So here's a solid little formula that I've worked out for you that you can follow to start building a strong relationship with your followers. Remember I mentioned relationships with your list in the beginning of the presentation? Well, it's just as important to build strong relationships with your followers in the social networks. Okay? Because these people, as I mentioned, can and probably will turn into customers of yours if you stick with it and you keep working hard with it. So I call this my 3P approach to social marketing. Okay, so I've got 3 things here and they all start with P. That's why I've called it the 3P approach. So let's look at the first one. Post daily. All right? Now, there are many schools of thought on this. Some people say that you don't need to post every day. Some people feel it's important to post several times a day. Others say it's as long as you post maybe 1 or 2 times a week is lots. What it comes down to is how much time do you have? How much effort can you put into this? And how quickly do you want to have results? Because in my opinion, the more you post, the more potential there is for more people to see your post and therefore react to it, give you comments, like it, share it on their with their network, retweet it, share it with their Google Plus circles, whatever. The more you do it, the faster it's going to happen, in my opinion. Okay? And I think for the most part, people would tend to agree with me. So that's number 1P, post daily. Number 2, pictures are best. All right? Now, I don't know how old the saying is that a picture says 1,000 words, but it still holds true today. Think about it yourself. How many times have you looked at your Facebook timeline, and let's say, on an average on your screen you're going to see maybe 2 or 3 posts running down from top to bottom on your timeline at any given time without scrolling. Let's say you've got a post that's just a little, maybe 2 or 3 lines of text, and it's got a link at the bottom. Next, you've got a post where someone has used like an automated system like Hootsuite or something like that to post for them, and it's maybe got a little thumbnail of an image from maybe a blog post that they're trying to promote with their post. Okay, it's very tiny and you can't really see it. And then the third one that you see on your screen, on your timeline, is this really big, cool image of something that's really interesting and it catches your eye and you think, wow, that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that before. Just for the sake of, getting people's interest and catching their eye, it's important, in my opinion, to use pictures as much as you can with your posts. All right? And this goes for Google Plus too. So that's number 2. Pictures are best. Find a cool image. All you have to do is do a Google search for whatever thing that you want to try to look for. Use your imagination. And I've got one coming up here in a couple of slides that I'm going to show you an example. So, pictures are best. Get visuals in front of people, and if nothing else, they'll like it. They'll click and like it because they think the picture's cool. And that all helps, okay? Because when they like it, it shows up and other people can like it, and so on and so on and so on. Before you know it, you're getting people sharing your stuff, and it just blossoms from there. Okay? Number 3, this is the final one, promote with a link. All right? You should, in my opinion, always have a link in your post. All right? Now, there's certain times when you don't put a link in, when you wouldn't put a link in. Maybe you've got a serious topic that you want to talk about, or maybe it's just an overall greeting. Like, for instance, a few weeks ago, I sent out a post a few times during Memorial Day, and it just had a cool picture of like a crest with Happy Memorial Day on it. And I just said, I'm up in Canada, obviously, so I just put a little line above it that said, Happy Memorial Day to all my friends south of the border. And then it had this cool image that said Happy Memorial Day. It was like red, white, and blue, and had the American flag in it. It was kind of cool and kind of shiny looking. So that didn't have a link in it, but you know what? I got about a dozen likes and shares and so forth, and a few comments on that image. So I'm telling you here, number 3, promote with a link, but maybe not all the time. Use your own discretion when you're figuring out when to promote with a link and when not to. Okay? Because in all honesty, there's an example right there. It can be just as effective, and perhaps sometimes even more effective, if you don't use a link. If it's just got, back to number 2, if it's got a picture that's really awesome and people will really like it, then maybe just throw a quick little line of text with it. That'll get people thinking. Maybe ask them a question. That's a good one, okay? Ask people a question with your line of text, and then just have this cool image there. And I bet you're going to get some likes at the very least, and probably some sharing going on with that post, and even some comments coming back to you. And they're probably going to be positive. Well, they could be positive, they could be negative too, if you get something controversial that you're showing with your image or with your little line of text. But anyway, those are my 3 P's. Let's go through them one more time. Post daily or post often. Pictures are best. And promote with a link. And I'm going to show you an example now. This is an example that I did like a couple of days ago. And this is right after it came out. I don't have any likes or anything showing on it yet. But this was an image that I found. So basically this post, excuse me, I posted it on my Build Your Success Online fan page on Facebook. And it was promoting a post on my blog that I wanted people to go and read. So let's look at our 3 P's. Okay, post daily. This was part of my daily posting. This was my post that day. I actually, in a lot of cases, I'm posting 2, 3, 4 times a day on different posts. This is different posts on my fan page. Okay, so the title I used was 5 Big Internet Business Lies. Okay, and a couple of exclamation marks there. Don't be fooled. Read this. And then I've got my link. All right, there's number 3, promote with a link. And then obviously they can click the link if they want to. And my final line was, keep moving forward to your success. So don't let these internet business lies slow you down. Read the post. It's going to help you get through and show you the right way. It's going to eliminate these lies from your mind, from being a factor in your success, and it's going to keep you moving forward. Okay? Now, sometimes what I'll do is I will include another little line there that asks people to like. Please like this if you agree or if you disagree. If I'm asking them a question, I'll say, click like if you think yes, comment if you think no. Okay, that's a good one to use there. That's more or less asking them, if you don't agree with what I'm saying in my statement, then prove it to me by leaving a comment. Okay? And you can see the image that I've used with this mouse trap with a penny on it. It's kind of, it gets you thinking, like, what's that representing? That's the money I want to make? That's the penny that's sitting there just waiting for me? But I have to be careful because I don't want to listen to these internet business lies that Dale is talking about. Otherwise, I could get caught. Okay, and I would lose my money. So that's sort of what I was going for there with that image. So you don't have to use an image that's exactly what your post is. Okay? Actually, this post in particular on my blog has nothing to do with mouse traps or pennies. It's got to do with 5 things that people think are the truth about starting an internet business, and they actually aren't, and it tends to scare people away. So anyway, there's an example for you of my 3 P's in action. So posting daily. These things are going out on a daily basis in my case, and I really think you should too. Pictures are best. Get a really cool picture that gets people thinking, just like this mouse trap. And number 3, promote with a link. I've got my link right there. It's easy to click on. I'm actually telling them, read this with an arrow. It can't get any more simple than that. Follow the directions and do what I say, right? And it's amazing. You start doing posts like this, people will actually click your links. All right, let's move on. So keep in mind that this should not be the only method, and I'm talking about social network advertising. It should not be the only method for promoting your online business to get a more rounded marketing campaign. So if you go back to previous webinars, you can go to my Facebook group called Frustrated Online Marketers. In there, I've got all of the previous webinar recordings that you can listen to and watch, and I've got lots of other ideas for generating traffic and building your list and building that relationship with your list that are not to do with social media. So make sure that you're using more than one method is what I'm getting at. Okay? Get into some forums that have to do with your niche. Start making some special offers in your forums. Start using things like SlideShare. Go to slideshare.com. Basically what that is it's a place where you can post PDFs or PowerPoint presentations that you've put together on particular subjects. And this thing is starting to get some big numbers in terms of hits that people are getting on their presentations. And obviously you can riddle those things with links that go back to your website. So promote your online business with multiple streams of promotion wherever possible. And again, as much time as you've got to devote to this, guys, that's what you should use. All right, moving on. Social media advertising can increase your presence and rankings because, up until probably a year or so ago, it wasn't as big a deal to do a lot of promoting and posting on social networks. But more and more, the search engines are bringing social networks into the mix when they're publishing their search results for people. And all you have to do is do a simple Google search for just about any topic. Take a look at your results on that first page of Google that come up, and take a look and just see how many of those results are YouTube videos. Okay? I would challenge you to be able to search for a keyword phrase in Google and not have a YouTube video, at least one, show up on the first page and close to the top. Okay? Because never forget that Google owns YouTube. So anything that you're doing on YouTube is helping your ranking in Google. All right? And in many cases, it's outshining. I've even seen cases where a YouTube video on a particular subject, let's say a review of a product, like a YouTube product review, is outranking the actual homepage of the website of that particular product that review is about. So if you have product ABC, so productabc.com is not ranking as well as Joe Blow, who's on YouTube and does a video review of product ABC. Okay? So don't discount social media advertising to increase your presence and your rankings. So if you follow this basic blueprint, it will lead you to success. All right, guys, it's everybody's favorite time of the webinar now. It's now time for your next 5-part action plan for success. So for you folks who are new, basically at the end of each webinar, what I will do is I come up with 5 action plan items, and these are mostly geared towards increasing your productivity. So we're running a little over today, so I'm going to go through these a little bit quicker than usual, but I do have a recording going of this, so don't fear. It's available to you almost immediately after the webinar. So here we go. Number 1 tonight, refresh and remotivate. Now, what do I mean by that? I want you to step outside your immediate task to be refreshed and remotivated. And in that time, get a stranger's feedback on your product, your website, your blog post, whatever you're working on. And you'll be surprised how often you are standing too close to the problem to see the obvious solution. And all it takes is a third-party point of view that can really prove to be invaluable to you. So if you're stumped on something, you just can't figure out how to write this headline for this squeeze page that you want to get out in a special offer, take a break, have someone else look at it, preferably somebody who doesn't know anything about it, and get their opinion about it. And I bet you 9 times out of 10, a suggestion made by that person will just be the ticket for you to get beyond that stumbling block that you had in front of you. All right? Cool. Number 2 tonight, complete your work before your batteries run out. Okay? Complete your work before your battery runs out. Now, this can be a great motivation for some. Leave your battery charger at home and aim to complete your tasks before your computer battery runs out. Obviously, if you use a laptop or a tablet or something like that to do your work, this will work for you. Okay? So what this does is this forces you to be productive through motivation. Okay? So it's a little challenge you can do for yourself. Charge up your laptop, charge up your tablet, and work on your project that you have to get done exclusively on that device, but you only have until that battery runs out to get it completed. Okay? And if you want to really challenge yourself, just charge it about halfway and see if you can get your task done. Okay? So try that one for sure. Number 3, keep everything electronically. Now here's what I mean by this. Laptops and other electronic devices are portable and they're designed to be productive and mobile. It's good to keep all your tasks electronically so that you can do things on the go. So, I know I told you back a few slides ago to grab a pen and some paper and make some notes, but, ideally you should be transferring any of those notes you've made tonight onto an electronic device. So you've got them, they're locked in, and you've got them for good. So in addition, if you're working from say a coffee shop or in a park, the last thing you want to be doing is shuffling papers, right? So become proficient in taking notes in creating a PDF document, like a Word document, even just a notepad app on your portable device. This can be your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever it is. Okay, try to become proficient with that in creating your notes that way, and get used to reading documents off of your device as well. Okay, so save some trees here, guys, and start to become more proficient at keeping your notes and everything else electronically. Number 4, assign tasks you can do during your commute. All right. Now, if you don't have a commute, obviously this doesn't apply to you, but for people like me who are still working full time, I have a commute. I commute about 45 minutes morning and night to and from my work. So commuting usually takes up a lot of your time in a day. For me, it's an hour and a half out of every day. I'm sitting in my car, driving one direction or the other. So, a way to increase your productivity is to assign tasks that you can do on the go. Now, back to number 3, do not text and drive, and do not talk on your cell phone and drive. In Canada here, that is illegal, and I think in a lot of states in the US it's illegal, and it's just plain unsafe. I actually did a blog post about that a couple of months ago, and it was terrible, this video that I found of actually a city bus who was transporting some disabled people, and the driver was texting while he was driving on the freeway and didn't realize that it was, rush hour, and gridlock had happened up ahead of him, and bang, smashed into the back of an SUV and injured the person in the SUV, and I think he injured a couple of the people on the bus. So I'm by no means telling you to do tasks that involve electronic devices while you're driving. But as an example, listening to business presentations, listening to motivational audio. You can sit there for your commute and you can, listen to the radio, listen to music, whatever. But is that really helping you to move forward with your business? No, it's not. It's providing you with some, useless entertainment to kind of make the drive more manageable. But if you have some audio recordings that you can listen to of a positive nature, a motivational nature, listen to those. One of the products that I promote almost exclusively is called Empower Network, and part of one of the products in the Empower Network is something called the Inner Circle, and the Inner Circle is made up of actually weekly audios that are done from these folks who are having great success with the program, and they basically tell you what they did to be successful. So what I do is morning and night, I listen to these audios in my car, and I make it a challenge of mine to put into practice for my business the things that I've learned in those audios that day. So that's something that you can do as well. Listen to something motivational. Maybe it's an audiobook about a motivational subject or topic that you've always wanted to read this book. Maybe you don't have time to physically sit down and with your eyes read it. So get the audiobook version of it and throw it in your CD player. Throw it on your iPod and listen to it on your way to and from where you're going, where you're commuting. Okay? The point is, get the most out of that time. Do something productive. All right. Finally, get a portable phone number. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't tried this myself, but there's something called Google Voice, which gives you one number for all your phones. Voicemail, and it's really apparently as easy as using email. It gives you free long distance in the US, and it gives you very low rates on international calls and many calling functions. But what this does is it increases productivity for your business, because with literally one phone you can work from home, you can work in different locations and on the road as well. So for the most part, most cell phone plans, I believe, have something like this pretty much today, where you don't really ever have to be out of touch with your customers. But it's a very important thing, and that's the main reason why I have it on the list tonight, is always be in touch with your followers, your list, your whoever. So I'll give you an example. Let's go back to number 4 for a second. You're on your commute, and up ahead of you somewhere there's this accident that's happened, and you're going to be sitting there. Instead of a freeway, the highway is now a parking lot for the next foreseeable future, maybe half an hour. Excuse me. So what you can do, and keep in mind you're stopped, you're not actually driving, so pull out your smartphone and you could actually write a blog post talking about that situation while you're sitting there. You could send out a broadcast to your email list while you're sitting there. Okay? So the point is, try to be as portable as possible with your communication. All right? Because you never know what's going to happen, what's around the corner, what's going to prevent you from perhaps getting home on time and getting that post up that you wanted to do. So if you have a portable phone, obviously a smartphone and so on, you can do that while you're being delayed. Okay? So there you go. Your 5 action tips for tonight. Refresh and remotivate. Complete your work before your battery's out. That's a good challenge for you. I want you to try that one. Keep everything electronically. Assign tasks you can do during your commute, and get a portable phone number, or use that smartphone for what it's designed for. And so, put these into practice right away, guys, and you will see a gain in your productivity and ultimately in your success as well. And with that, I want to thank you so much for attending the webinar tonight. As I said, this is part 8 of 10 of this particular series. So we've got 2 weeks to go, and I'm just going to look ahead here. Next week, we're going to talk about using email marketing. Okay? So some methods for you to use email to get better with your relationship of your list. Okay? Turn those email readers into buyers, into people who think everything you do is really cool and they want to be associated with you no matter what you're doing. Okay? No matter what you offer them for sale, they will buy it. That's what we're talking about. So we'll get into that next week. Like I said, this is being recorded, so you can grab it on my Facebook group, which is Frustrated Online Marketers. If you haven't joined the group yet, please put in a request when you get there to join the group, and you can interact with other people who are getting started. And we've got some great things going on there. I'm going to be adding some challenges soon. I'd welcome you to check out my Facebook fan page, Build Your Success Online, and also check out my blog at buildyoursuccessonline.com. I've got a free downloadable report there called Affiliate Marketing Supremacy that you can grab free of charge. You'll get onto my list and you'll get my regular updates, and you'll know when webinars like this are happening, and so on and so on. So thank you again very much for attending tonight. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time. We'll open it up now for Q&A. Thanks again.